Deep beneath the turbulent, brackish waters of northern Europe lies a landscape as alien and uncharted as the surface of a distant moon. It is a realm of perpetual darkness, where shipwrecks from centuries past rest undisturbed in the freezing silt. Yet among the scattered remnants of human history, something entirely unexpected emerged from the gloom. It was not a galleon nor a lost submarine, but a massive, perfectly circular structure resting silently on the seabed. This enigmatic formation challenged our understanding of the ocean floor, sparking a global debate that blurred the lines between geology, archaeology, and the outermost edges of human imagination. The story of this strange discovery began in 2011. A Swedish salvage group known as the Ocean X Team was scouring the Baltic Sea for antique spirits lost in early 20th century shipwrecks. Trailing side-scan sonar equipment behind their vessel, the crew monitored the returning acoustic signals. Suddenly, the digital readout painted a startling picture. Approximately 90 meters below the surface, the sonar returned an image of a colossal disk, roughly 60 meters in diameter. The shape was strikingly geometric, featuring rigid lines, harsh angles, and what appeared to be a long, flattened runway stretching out behind it, as if the object had skidded to a halt across the ocean floor. Interpreting acoustic data from the deep ocean is notoriously difficult. Sonar does not capture photographs. It records the echoes of sound waves bouncing off objects, translating acoustic density and distance into a two-dimensional map. The resulting images are highly susceptible to distortion from water temperature variations, currents, and the angle of the sonar towfish itself. The initial sonar scans of the object were grainy and ambiguous, yet the distinct, almost architectural symmetry of the anomaly was impossible to ignore. It looked undeniably manufactured. The release of these sonar images ignited a firestorm of public speculation. The visual similarity to iconic science fiction spacecraft was immediately noted by the press, catapulting the anomaly from a niche oceanographic curiosity to an international sensation. Theories multiplied rapidly across the globe. Enthusiasts proposed that the object was a crashed extraterrestrial vehicle, an ancient monolithic monument from a lost civilization, or perhaps a clandestine military installation from the Cold War era. The sheer lack of definitive data created a vacuum, and human imagination rushed in to fill it. Within the scientific community, however, the response was one of measured skepticism. Experts in marine geology and hydrography cautioned against jumping to extraordinary conclusions based solely on preliminary acoustic imagery. They pointed out that nature is entirely capable of producing startlingly regular geometric shapes. Columnar basalt, for instance, forms perfect hexagonal pillars, and pyrite crystals grow in perfect cubes. The ocean floor is a dynamic environment where currents, chemical reactions, and millennia of erosion sculpt stone into forms that can easily deceive the human eye. To understand the true origins of the structure, we must look backward, far beyond human history, to the geological forces that carved the Baltic Sea itself. During the Pleistocene epoch, ending roughly 11.7 thousand years ago, the entire region was buried beneath massive ice sheets, some reaching thousands of meters in thickness. These colossal rivers of ice were not static. They ground their way across the bedrock, acting like a planetary-scale conveyor belt. As the glaciers advanced, they tore immense boulders from the earth, carrying them for hundreds of miles. When the global climate eventually warmed and the ice retreated, it deposited its frozen cargo across the newly formed landscape. Scientists hypothesize that the mysterious seafloor object is precisely this kind of deposit, a massive geological feature known as a glacial erratic. A glacial erratic is a piece of rock that differs from the size and type of rock native to the area in which it rests. The immense weight and movement of the retreating ice could easily have dragged a colossal slab of stone across the basin, carving the long, runway-like depression behind it, before finally melting and leaving the object in its current resting place. The Ocean X team, determined to uncover the physical truth, returned to the site for a series of difficult dives. Plunging into the near-freezing, low-visibility waters, divers finally laid eyes on the anomaly. What they found was not a metallic hull or a smooth artificial surface. The structure was composed entirely of rock. The divers reported a massive mushroom-like formation with a rugged, textured exterior. It was covered in a thick layer of soot-like sediment and marine growth. Operating in treacherous conditions, they managed to chisel off several samples from the object for laboratory analysis. The results from the recovered samples provided a crucial piece of the puzzle. Geologists analyzed the fragments and identified them as basalt, a common volcanic rock, alongside granitic and metamorphic rocks. There was no trace of unknown metals, no synthetic alloys, and no evidence of artificial manufacturing. The composition was entirely consistent with the geology of the surrounding region and the types of rocks typically transported by glacial activity. The presence of volcanic rock in an area not known for recent volcanism further supported the glacial erratic theory, suggesting the stone had been transported from a distant volcanic region by the ice. The glacial erratic model is compelling, yet marine geologists have proposed an alternative, equally fascinating natural explanation. They suggest that the anomaly is a natural rock outcrop, a remnant of the ancient bedrock that survived the scouring action of the glaciers. In this scenario, the surrounding, softer sediment was eroded away by deep ocean currents over millennia, leaving the harder circular core exposed. The rigid lines and right angles visible in the initial scans could be the result of natural fracturing and jointing in the rock, a common geological process where stress causes stone to break in regular geometric patterns. The enduring mystery of the anomaly lies not in its physical composition, but in how we perceive it. The phenomenon at play here is largely psychological. Pareidolia is the human brain's tendency to impose meaningful patterns on random or ambiguous stimuli. It is the exact cognitive mechanism that allows us to see faces in clouds or animals in the stars. When confronted with the grainy, low-resolution sonar image of a circular rock formation, our minds instinctively searched for a recognizable shape, latching onto the familiar silhouette of a constructed monument or a sunken vessel. The intense focus on this single object highlights a broader truth about our relationship with the ocean. We have mapped the surface of Mars with greater resolution than we have mapped the bottom of our own oceans. The seafloor is a vast, largely unexplored frontier, teeming with strange geological formations, undiscovered species, and the sunken remnants of our own history. Every time we drag a sonar array across the deep, we risk uncovering something that defies our immediate comprehension. The anomaly serves as a stark reminder of how much of our planet remains shrouded in darkness. The investigation into the Baltic Sea Anomaly demonstrates the vital importance of the scientific method when navigating the unknown. It shows how initial, ambiguous data can easily spark wild speculation, but also how rigorous analysis, physical sampling, and geological context can ground those flights of fancy back in reality. The transformation of a perceived alien spacecraft into a fascinating piece of glacial history does not diminish the wonder of the discovery. Rather, it redirects that wonder toward the awesome, slow-moving power of the natural world. Today, the massive stone structure remains exactly where the Ice Age left it, silent and still beneath the waves. It stands not as a monument to extraterrestrial visitors, but as a testament to the immense geological forces that sculpted the Earth. As we continue to probe the depths of our oceans, we will undoubtedly encounter more anomalies, more strange echoes in the dark. The true adventure lies not in finding what we want to see, but in carefully uncovering the complex, natural realities that have been hiding in the deep all along.